have to say. We've got a great show for you guys. If you wouldn't mind taking a moment to please like this episode and share it on all of your socials, either on Rumble or YouTube. If you're watching either one, you can share it, get it out there. We're going to be talking all things municipal and just kind of looking forward towards the horizon out there of the August and November elections. So please like, share, subscribe to our channels, all of our social medias. That just really helps us to get our name out there and get the information that we're sharing out there. If you would like to support our efforts here and help us keep our lights on, you can do that either through a business by supporting our podcast, or you can do it personally through donations to the podcast. And you can also do it by dropping us which is our favorite way of getting it really, is a Rumble rant and or a super chat, which Abby will definitely read as they come in. And I want to give a shout out to Salvo. Thank you so much for your sponsorship. We'll talk more about Salvo later on in the episode. And I think those are all my announcements.
All the housekeeping is
all
done?
The housekeeping. I got a lot of stuff to talk about when it gets around to me later. But what's up, guys? Hi.
It's been a week.
It's been a
it?
week. Today I was
tired.
like, wait, what day is it? What day is it? What day is it? And spring break too. So
Oh,
on top of
yeah.
all the things, I'm spring breaking with my kids. So
I think Broward got out half day today.
Yeah,
and now
they
they're
do.
on break. Yeah, so yay, less traffic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, spring break for them is also spring break for me because I really don't like waking up in the mornings and getting lunches and getting uniforms and getting everyone out the door. And so I am enjoying it, but it has been a week. A week. So what you got?
I feel like I haven't rested in like 3 weeks. It's been
I feel like that's going to be like that
nonstop.
from now till November.
I'm hoping I have a little bit of a break, but then, we do have some runoffs coming up in a few municipals in Palm Beach County, so we'll see how that turns out. I have a feeling I will be helping with those races, so it's a little crazy. So do we want to go ahead and dive in?
Yeah, let's go. Let's rock
do
and
it.
roll.
All right. So I definitely have some updates. So first and foremost, last Friday, the REC of Palm Beach County had their Lincoln Day dinner.
Yes.
Raised over $1 million and had 800 in attendance.
It was crazy.
It was crazy.
How many people were there?
800 is a lot.
It's a lot of people.
It was so much to just kind of be a part of it. And like, I was lucky enough to be part of the Lincoln Day committee, which was, awesome in itself.
Yeah.
And then to kind of be there and kind of go through everything and then see the wins and the kudos that Trump gave to Kevin and the REC. It was
Shout out.
It was awesome. Matt Gaetz said it was the best Lincoln Day event that he has ever been to. So that was just huge. It was a great accomplishment. So we're very happy about that. And then we went right into the weekend. Saturday and Sunday was Party at the Polls.
Woohoo!
So if you were out with us on Saturday, we were in Delray Beach, and and apparently, from my understanding, is the Democrats got very upset. They were very
that we were there.
that we were there and that we were involved. And so
Wait, that you were where?
that we were at the Delray, that we were in Delray Beach. So on Saturday.
Oh yeah, it's been crazy, the shenanigans in Delray.
Saturday was the St. Patrick's parade
yeah,
in Delray.
yeah.
So I should say I decided.
Jessica's like, listen, this
And
is
I
what's
just came
happening.
along for the ride.
Pretty sure we all
I
are.
was like, let's try to do Party at the Polls after the parade and see if we can get people to engage. And we did. We actually did
oh my
a very
gosh, it was
good job.
crazy.
Yeah. So and so one of our candidates did win in Delray.
Yep.
Tom Carney is the new mayor-elect.
Woo!
So that was huge. So we were very happy to be out supporting him.
The green shirts, I just have to say, I don't know who, shout out to whoever did this, but they got these green shirts made for Tom Carney. I should have brought mine. Mine's in the van. I'll show you guys later, but if you were there, sorry, I'll see if I can post a picture on our socials. The shirts were St. Patrick's Day green, and then on the back it said Ryan, what did it say? Ryan Boylston is full of blarney. Because it's St. Patrick's Day.
Perfect.
I was amazing. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I need one of these shirts.
Yes.
It was great.
So apparently, I haven't found the post, and I was going to ask. So if anybody did see it, please send it to me. But apparently, Ryan Boylston did like take a picture of our booth and like sent out like an SOS saying they're coming.
He was a total Karen. Hello, I'd like to speak to the manager.
I like to report the Republicans.
The Republicans are at the
The
Delray
Republicans
parade.
are coming. The Republicans are coming. Hide your wife. Hide your keys.
So that was quite interesting.
Oh my
but we had a
gosh.
fun time. So thank you to everybody that came out and said hi. We got lots of waves and thank you for being out here. And
We got
then
petition signed for Bill. It was
Yes,
great.
Yes.
It was
and
good.
and then on Sunday we hit Party at the Polls again. We did Boca, we did Spanish River Library in the morning, and then we did downtown Boca Library in the afternoon. And was able to talk to some great voters and get them information to help vote for Brian. Unfortunately, Brian Stenberg did lose his raise.
I'm very disappointed. It makes me, being a Boca resident, it makes me really annoyed. I'm
I'm so
sorry, at the
angry.
people around me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Why did you take this guy back?
Yeah.
Why is he here? Are you that desperate, Boca? Are you that desperate that we need to have someone who left, who will leave again, by the way?
We have
rumors-
bets.
We have bets.
going
There's
on.
rumors.
year.
We've game theoried this whole thing out, where he could go, what he's going to do. He's not sticking around. He's already shown once that he'll leave. He'll leave again.
Yeah.
And
And then they had their finger on the scale the whole time. They really propped him up in a lot of different areas. They
Yeah.
made him sound like he was an incumbent. He
Yep.
wasn't. And then, he had a pretty strong war chest,
what does make me happy is we did make him spend it.
Yes.
He spent
Yes.
a lot of money
Yes.
to win that race. So
Yes.
if you look at how much, I haven't run the numbers yet, but I will. I always like to look at this as how much per vote candidates spend. And I guarantee you Brian probably spent like not even a quarter, a fraction,
Yeah.
probably like a few percentage points of what Andy spent on his campaign.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because I'm
For sure.
guessing, I know he had like about $100,000 probably is my guesstimation. And he
Yep.
probably spent at least 60, if not more.
I
And
would probably say
I think
it's more than
Brian
that.
was like,
between his tax campaign and the flyers that he
the
sent
flyers.
out.
I mean, I cut
Yeah, the flyers are
5
what?
flyers.
Yeah, that's
5
a lot
big
of money.
ones.
Mm-hmm.
Big flyers.
Yeah, text messaging's cheap,
Yeah.
but the
The
mailer.
flyers.
he
Well,
did-
and I only
but
got
he
one
hit-
for Yvette.
He hit Dems, he hit MBAs, and he hit Republicans.
We
He
got
did.
one. We got one from Yvette on election day.
You got one for But I'm just
Hey,
saying, I
better
only
than
got,
the day
better
after
than the day
election.
after, right? Wah, wah. But I'm just saying, like, I only got one for her, which means that she knew she didn't have to spend that kind of money or
Right.
go through that, which she didn't, obviously. But
What was the split on her election?
80 to 20. I think.
Well, I mean, still, like her opponent got 27, 100 votes.
Mhm.
He
he did, but I did find it interesting. I'm just gonna say this is an interesting fact. If you add up the number of votes, the amount of people who voted in Brian and Andy's race was a different amount of people who voted in the Drucker-Korn race, which means there were people who didn't vote.
Like they
in-
left that blank because it's a citywide vote,
Yeah,
right?
they-
Yeah,
they
both
left it
even
blank.
though they're districted. Yeah,
No, there's not. We're not districted.
No.
It's
They're
just
seats.
They're just
Just
seats.
seats. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah.
Wait, I was gonna. Well, I want to go back to Delray later, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finish up.
So anyway, overall, Palm Beach County did an amazing
Yes.
job. We got about 58% of our races won.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out everyone.
So we won 14 out of 24 races, which then is leading us to 2 runoffs. We have 2 runoffs in Wellington. We have total of 3 runoffs, 2 in Wellington. One was Amanda Silvestri, and the
Yay,
other one,
Amanda!
and the other one is Maria Antuna. So we need to really push out hard for those. And then we also ended up with a runoff in Pahokee,
Yes,
Sarah
Pahokee,
Perez.
That's right.
On election day, all of those candidates actually won, but they didn't win by a high enough percentage to be able to clinch it. So that we have to go to a runoff in those 3 seats. But our candidates are in the lead. So we need to make sure that we are calling, texting, volunteering, door knocking, anything that you can for Amanda Silvestri, Maria Antuna, and Sarah Perez. So if you are interested in helping our Republican candidates win their runoffs, please contact us. You can email us or send us a message or a super chat or however you want to do it.
Super chat would be great because
Yeah.
then we could take some of your money. Your donations. elections.
But
They'll
if you
take your
are
money.
if you are interested, you can email us at wethelocalsfl@gmail.com for more information on how to get involved in those races. And then is a couple other quick things in Palm Beach County, which I thought were worthy of mentioning. All 5 areas in Palm Beach Gardens voted against annexation. So they do not want to be part of Palm Beach Gardens. They want to stay part of the county.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it was
That's
overwhelming.
been so much drama
Yeah.
around the annexations and the conversations, especially in the North County.
Yeah, and
Very interesting.
And Juno Beach had 5 questions on their ballots. They all were yes unanimously. They had a huge turnout in their race. So whoever was pushing out the information to Juno Beach, good job for getting that that type of support in a municipal election. That was pretty awesome to see.
So in Delray, I just have to update Abby
Yeah.
because she's not always following our Delray news. There was so much pearl clutching.
Oh,
by
kind of
the
like
media.
Lauderdale by the Sea in
Yes,
Broward. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
by
It's
the
Sun
media.
Sentinel, both places. Yeah.
Yeah, by the media, by Democrats, by all these people just like, the Republicans are supporting candidates in a nonpartisan race.
God.
And you're like,
You've been
pretty
doing it for
sure that you've been doing
decades.
this for decades. And not only that, you have a whole like publicity campaign from the Democratic Party of Florida saying these are the candidates
Yeah,
that
take
we're
back
supporting.
local,
Take back
which-
local.
I am dizzy from all the spin that Nikki Fried was putting
Oh
on
my
those
gosh.
election night losses.
I was just going to say it was so funny because the Florida Voice kept posting every time a one would come in, and the top comments, everybody was posting memes saying, "Thank you, Nikki Fried.
Get
Thank
in,
you, Nikki
loser. We're
Fried."
going losing.
Like, yes, I was like, everyone get in, loser. We're going losing. Sorry, Nikki Fried. No, we are
She-
not. You're not taking it back.
I
We
tell you
have
what,
it now.
She is the gift that keeps on giving
I
to
know,
the
right?
Republican
you know what?
Party.
You stay in your spot.
It's
Nikki
like when
Fried.
she
You go, girl.
when she talked about the whole like, oh, voters are being oppressed and
Suppress. It's like, dude, bro, you canceled your primary. Like, you have nobody to blame but
Wait,
yourself.
wait. She said voters are being suppressed.
Suppressed.
And where did she say that?
Because Republicans have like an 850,000 voter lead in Florida now.
I was like, no, that's called you're losing.
That's called people are moving here and they don't want to live like they left.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what that's happening. It's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Broward.
So,
Tell us
yeah.
what happened in Broward.
All right. So in Broward, we had 3 towns, cities that had races. 7 races. We were supporting candidates in 6 out of the 7 races. Clean sweep in Lauderdale by the Sea, another pro-clutching town, by the Sun Sentinel and the Dems.
Freaking out. They're gonna
we
freak out. I
Clean
just wish
sweep.
I could've
All
seen
3
their faces.
Republicans that were endorsed by the Broward GOP won.
Congratulations.
Oh,
Lauderdale
that's
by the
awesome.
Sea.
Edmund Malcoon won the mayor. John Graziano and Richard DiNapoli won the commission seats. It was not, I don't think any of them, I think Malcoon's race may have been the closest. The other ones weren't really that close. Hillsborough Beach, there were 3 candidates for 2 seats, and they do theirs. It's not ranked choice voting, but it's like the top 2 vote getters win the seats. Unfortunately, incumbent Jane Reiser won re-election. She was endorsed by Breck. She was supported by Breck. Unfortunately, Rich Krusko lost. He came in 3rd place, and so he did not win. And then we get to Pembroke Pines. We ran a candidate in 1. So there was the mayor's race, and 2 commission races, and we ran a candidate.
Stu.
Yeah,
We have
get
a
the
wah-wah.
want button ready.
Wah,
We
wah.
ran guest of the show, Glenn Theobald was running for District 3.
He was so awesome. to have
Glenn
on.
was a dream candidate. He had the backing of police and fire. He has this long. I mean, if you tuned into Glenn's episode
And
last
if you
month,
didn't, go listen.
Go
to
back
him
and
because
watch.
It's
Yeah.
definitely worth
Just a great
hearing
guy.
him talk and getting to know
he
him.
basically wrote the legislation on the mortgage fraud. Back in 2008 during the housing crisis. I mean, this guy knows his stuff. He worked his tail off since
He
last
knocked
July.
on every
He covered
door
the entire
in his district.
He covered the entire district, and then went back again. And started covering a second time. And there was a Democrat in the race, 4-way race. Glenn lost by 53 votes. 53 votes in which he got. Here, let me just pull up the. The vote count here.
So frustrating.
28-year-old Maria Rodriguez, who still lives at home with her parents.
28.
Staffer to one of the Democratic county commissioners on the dais down in Fort Lauderdale.
She lives at home with her parents, so she doesn't pay property taxes.
And
she
she's
doesn't
going
pay
to
city
decide.
taxes.
She's going to determine how the residents of Pembroke Pines tax dollars get allocated.
I'm sure there are a hefty amount of tax dollars too.
So Maria got 1,779 votes. Glenn got 1,726 votes. Chris Zadie, the other Republican in the race, got 883 votes. And Ace Almeria got 194 votes.
So, if the other Republican had not run,
Glenn
Glenn
would have
would've
blown her out of the water.
done it.
Blown her out of the water.
See, this frustrates me. I'm just gonna throw this out. We were talking a little bit about this.
This is what frustrates Republicans.
This is what frustrates Republican voters. Exactly.
Yes.
Because it's a double-edged sword, because as Republicans we're very focused on meritocracy, our own individual goal, this is what I want to do, I have the goods to do it, whatever it may be. But we don't always think about how that could affect everything else around us. Like this case. So somebody wanted to run this race and it didn't matter basically to hell, excuse my cursing, with how it could affect the future of the constituents, the residents, the party. I mean, so many things.
Yeah.
And say, you know what? Maybe I will step out so that we can concentrate our efforts to do this. This is what we do in primaries. This is what we do in school board races. This is what we do in nonpartisan races. People think that they are the best person for the job, and they might be, but instead of having a conversation with someone else who thinks they're the best person for the job and then deciding together, maybe we should work together, work smarter, not harder. We do this and now we lose, and the Democrats win, and they're laughing all the way to the bank. Nikki Fried is laughing.
She's hanging her hat on that win.
That's the
Oh,
one
yeah.
win.
That's
That's
the
her
one
one
win
win that she's hanging her hat
That
on.
and Andy Thompson.
Well,
Yeah.
which she didn't do anything for.
No. If I were a Democrat in Florida, I'd be like, stay away, Nikki.
I'd be like, Nikki, go over there and go run those races. Don't come down here and help us. Thank you. Thanks,
Yeah.
but thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
Well, especially after they ousted the chair of Palm Beach County and the vice chair.
They ousted both
Yeah.
both positions
Yeah, I
in
heard
Palm
that
Beach.
they did. Yeah.
All right. So what else?
So they're
Um,
starting
so-
from scratch.
Yeah,
Good
so I
job.
mean that's kind
In an
of
election year.
it was obviously a very low turnout. I want to say it was around 10% in each town that turned out. And I take that back.
That's about
Lauderdale by the
average.
Sea was a little higher turnout, but it's a smaller town.
I mean, on average, I feel like 10% is normal
Palm
for
Beach County actually had
municipals.
22% turnout.
Seriously?
Seriously.
That's crazy pants. I think it's because the
22.37%.
presidential preference primary. So we did. The strategy of using that definitely paid off.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, like if I were the DNC,
shh, don't give them any ideas, Abby. They're listening.
I would appoint Nikki Fried for life.
Listen, Cornerstone. Listen, Cornerstone.
We know
you
you're
listen.
We know you're watching.
We know you're watching.
Roe chimed in on a couple
Ro.
things. He said Pines electorate cannibalism. I mean, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then he also talked about Bernie Moreno. He dropped out of the race in 22 in favor of J.D. Vance, which it was still a crowded primary.
Yep.
And then he won big time Tuesday night.
Yeah, he
Ohio
did.
had their primary,
he did.
and hopefully he can stick it to Sherrod Brown because.
Yeah. So there we go. There's an example. This is what we need to do more of, so that way we can actually win these
If
bloody
you're
races.
really about what's best for your community, you would really connect with the other people that are in a race, and then you would determine how and who gets put forward. It should be a great conversation and to debate the issues. And this is where the party can step in and help too, is to help guide those candidates in where they're best served. But
people have to be willing to listen. Like if you go to a candidate as the party and you say, listen, here's the deal. This is what we want. And the candidate, this is the problem.
Well,
Is people are like, I can do the best because, and I don't want to minimize the meritocracy of like people thinking and having that determination. That's what's made America great is we have that drive and that determination. I can do it. And I'm not saying we have to do it. I'm just saying it needs to be a process and a consideration that people need to see in order for us to win. We're not in like la-di-da times right now. We're in like we need to take back our freaking country.
We don't have any candidates that are willing to do the work and put forth the effort before starting to run. That's the biggest problem
Yeah.
we have.
Yeah.
Is it's like they're not even looking to earn the job.
They're not on board.
And I'll be honest. I mean, like I didn't put in the work before I ran the first time.
Right.
I just
I had no
jumped in the
idea. I
race.
was just
I'm
like, I was at 15 minutes before closing. I'm like, I'm running.
I'm
Here
like-
I am.
no election should run on a no candidate should run
But that's
unopposed.
true too. But
know, I
that's
100%
absolutely
agree.
Right, but that's not what the problem is at this point.
right.
Our problem is that we're like, we went from having nobody running to everybody wants to run.
No, and then they only want to really run for Congress and
Oh,
the big,
my
and
Lord.
the big level.
Listen,
seats.
Don't get me
Congress
started
people.
on the
Don't-
Congress.
I'm so over it. I get the wire, and I'm just gonna throw. We need to swap. The smaller races need to be at the top of the wire thing because all it is all these congressional
Oh, good
invitations
Lord.
to all of these congressional fundraisers.
Yeah.
And
We got a super chat, or
Ooh.
excuse me, a rumble rant.
Rumble Rant, thank you.
For Janine,
Hi,
sexy
Janine.
gal.
Thank you.
Thanks, Janine.
$5. Lambert spent $22 per voter to beat Luciano for West Palm Beach commissioner.
Ooh.
Lambert is owned by Cornerstone.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Interesting.
So they were 1
You
and
see
1.
how
Is that
much
county commission? What is that?
you see
West
how
Palm
much
Beach
Cornerstone
Commission?
had to
Oh, like
spend
City
to
of West
beat
Palm.
them, though. That's a lot.
Wait, which one was this in which
West Palm Beach.
I know, but what race?
Lambert versus Luciano. She didn't say like seat or district or whatever. I don't know.
That's West Palm Beach.
Yeah, I know, but I wasn't sure. I was just asking the names.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Seat 5.
Spent $22 per vote.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody's out there would like to run the numbers on Brian versus Andy, I'd really like to know that. I did the math on my campaign, and my opponent spent like way more money on mine.
Well, I mean, you got to wait for the final reports to come in, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, we got to wait for that. So I mean,
that's
look,
very interesting.
I think that this does give me hope. Like I think we're on a trajectory that is turning. We are going to have a lot of work to do, and I really want to challenge candidates. If you're running in a race with school board, or you're running in a race that's the congressional races where there's 17 people running in the race, really and truly consider the impact. We see the impact that it has when two people of the same party are pulling votes away from each other, and then the Democrats slide in and win. We see this.
And they have to promise to not go negative on each other.
Does not work in local races. Negativity just
No, it doesn't
You
work.
go negative and like people just
People
get
don't
turned off.
like
Yeah.
it. I mean, I was hoping that would be the case because Andy went super negative on Brian, but so let this be a lesson as we go into. We have time. There's plenty of time before qualifying. If you
we have
look at your
over
race,
2 months.
Yeah, look at your race if you're running and decide, am I the right person for the job, and is there a better person? I got this really great advice from someone before I ran for city council, and he said, don't run in a race unless you know that you are the best person for the job, and you were confident in that, which is one reason I didn't run in the last race. I wasn't sure that I really was the best person for the job in the last cycle when I was thinking about running. And so no, and not just know that in a way of like, yes, I am, but like, is this, but I would take that a step further and say, am I the best person for the job? And what would happen? What's the negative that could happen if I stay in this race?
Mm-hmm.
Because if someone would have asked that, if this guy in Pembroke Pines would have asked that, Glenn would have won.
Yeah.
If you come from a place too of service and not ego, it's much
Yes.
easier to be able to make that decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't, ego is not going to get you. It's not going to get you places.
Nope.
It's not.
Nope. It's gonna get you some enemies, if anything.
Enemies. All right. So I'm going to give our shout out to Salvo. I'm going to read our little, our script here, or not our script, our piece here. The renowned political scientist Larry Sabato once said, every election is determined by the people who show up. In today's world, as we have seen when the spread was, 80 votes, 79 votes?
53 votes.
53 votes. Every election is determined by the people who get out the vote. And it's those who chase the most ballots who win elections. We've all worked in political campaigns at this point, and we see a lot of times they are verily,
Verily,
truly, saying to you, fragmented. They are very disorganized, fragmented, and reactive. Not to mention that you have to deal with consultants, and they are just really out to take your money, and they care more about their corner office than they do about the politician that they're working for, the candidate that they're working for,
And they
actually
don't care
winning.
about the community.
No, and they don't care about the community. That's the biggest thing. They are willing to tear apart communities through negative press, There's so many things that they do. So this is where Salvo Journeys comes in. Salvo is a voter outreach platform. It gives your political campaign, party, or PAC full control over voter outreach. It helps you do things like plan a campaign roadmap for activities so that you can generate candidate name ID, streamline petition signing, reminding voters of important election dates, and of course chasing ballots to during the get out the vote period. Influencing a voter, it's very similar to marketing when you're selling a product, which we are. We're selling the candidate to gain the vote. It takes at least 10 contacts. So how do you keep track of who have you emailed, texted, door knocked, got petitions signed, talked to at the grocery store, and so on? There's so many vendors, there's disconnected tools, but Salvo solves this by allowing you to target the right voter with the right message at the right time. It unifies the fragmented tool sets into one simple-to-use software with district insights, campaign milestones, voter data, contact timelines, outreach productivity, and then, of course, the voter outreaches. Salvo is cost-effective because it eliminates the consultant and their vendors, and it allows you to build your own product platform if you would like to, month-to-month pricing through do-it-yourself, or you can hire a guided Salvo journey for a month or more to help you get going. Texting, emailing, door hangers, mailers are all at best in market prices. This year, the 2024 election cycle is already hectic. I don't know about you guys, but I'm already trying to catch my breath, and it's only March. So start planning your voter outreach now. We've got, August and then November coming up. Go to Salvo, www.salvo.today, salvo.today. We, the Locals podcast viewers, get a free guided journey session to help you kickstart your campaign. Salvo Journeys, Campaign Victory Simplified. So thank you very much, Ro. We really appreciate your sponsorship to keep our lights on here and our microphones live. So, yeah, what else?
Well, there's a lot going on in Broward County.
All right,
so I can kind of
let's go.
I can kind of spitball this stuff.
Yeah,
school board, a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, just constant turmoil at the school board. There's been talk. There's been a lot of articles in the newspaper lately about them closing schools.
Like 5 schools.
Is it 5 or is it 9?
Oh, I saw
like
5 in one of the articles I read, but it could be.
It's it's not a small number. So they're wrestling through that. I think that there was supposed to be some rollout of a plan. I think they met Tuesday, and not much information was given. One thing that I heard, I tuned in briefly to a workshop. They started the morning off with a workshop, and it was on they're rolling out metal detectors. They're going to start rolling out metal detectors.
Are they going to use like the super smart ones like they're trying to do in Palm Beach County?
To be honest with you, I don't know. Another thing that's happened with the school board is guest of the show, Tori Alston, has, he's reached out. He's demanded an investigation.
Good for him.
By the Department of Education into the money.
Savage.
Yeah. Because they haven't been funding, the money's supposed to go to the charter schools in addition to the public schools, and the charter schools have not been getting the money.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then also
none of them?
And also just the interplay between the unions. I don't know. The union and the negotiation.
Somebody called that out.
Yeah.
That was
Tori.
That was Tori,
Yeah.
right? Oh, go Tori.
There was
man.
closed door negotiation information leaked.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was part of it. And just, I can't pay attention as much as I wish I could.
Listen, you could make your whole life just watching school board stuff and following school board stuff.
Those meetings,
so much.
the Tuesday meeting went literally all day long. And
let's say Palm Beach County, they have them at night, and so the airs are at 5 o'clock at night, and so sometimes those meetings will go to 1 or 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's crazy pants.
So I'm not as well versed as I should be on the school board stuff, but there is a lot going on there, and I know there's a couple people that try to cover it. I'm in a couple Facebook groups that try to cover it. Broward County.
Okay, let's go.
So 2
what
weeks
are they
ago,
doing? Because Broward's going to Broward.
2 weeks ago, the county commission discussed a 10-year affordable housing master plan.
Okay.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, who knows what's going to happen next year? I mean, this very well could have been a topic discussed in 2005, 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I remember I was a first-year staff at, the public accounting firm I worked at. And the regional director for HR came down, and some of my seniors, they're like, "Look at Abby. She can't even afford to move out of her parents' house because the cost of living is so high down here." Because they were trying to get a cost of living increase. Now, we all know that that was like probably early 2006. Within a year, 2 years, the bottom fell out of the
Kablammy.
market. Stuff
Yeah.
dropped. I don't think that's going to happen this
No.
time. It's different.
It's going to be different. Something's going to happen.
But
It's
something's
not-
got to give, and we don't know what's going to happen a year from now, let
Right.
alone 10 years from
Oh
now.
my gosh, we got to get through an election cycle. We're good. No, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll have a comment on that in a second.
The commission talked for the better part of the whole day on this master plan. Bottom line, it wasn't a binding agreement to do anything. They struck down Part B of the 3-part motion, which I think it required them to devote a certain amount of funds specifically to this, and they're like, no, we're only going to commit to a year, not all 10 years at the same time. So they're pushing it forward, but nothing is binding at this point as far as the affordable housing and all that. So that was 2 weeks ago. So it's and they had public commenters showed up that it's this one school in Central Broward where the students are, living with their parents out of their car. They don't have a house. And it's sad. I'm not saying that it's not sad to
Right.
not be able to afford in the area that you live. I definitely think that the rent moratoriums during COVID in 2020 exacerbated the problem because once those were lifted, then the landlords jacked the rent up everywhere. Obviously inflation plays into it. So yes, we have an affordability problem. But 2 weeks later, what is on the agenda today for the Broward County Commission? A motion to enact and put on the ballot in November a 0.25% sales tax surcharge for indigent
That
and
is a
medically poor
lot.
cardiac screening.
What?
Yes, there's I learned from Commissioner Woodward that there's 7 different areas that the surtax, the local sales tax,
Uh-huh.
can be approved for.
Okay.
Infrastructure being one thing, transportation being another thing. Well, one of the things is medical care for indigent and medically poor residents.
What's indigent?
Indigent,
Like indigenous? But what?
I think it's
No.
poverty,
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
people that don't even qualify
Below
for Medicaid.
poverty.
I guess there's people that don't even qualify for Medicaid, which I don't know how
Don't
that.
you have to have nothing to qualify? I mean, can't you qualify for
I don't know.
Okay.
But this is who they're trying to pass this 0.25% surtax. So
That's
in
a
addition
lot
to
of
the
money.
1% local tax that's going towards in Broward County, it's going towards transportation.
Mm-hmm.
They want to pass this 0.25% for medical care,
Not for housing.
not for housing. But a sales tax is a regressive tax because everybody pays it.
Mm-hmm.
So even the people that are living out of their cars, when they go to the store, obviously not on food, but if they go to the convenience store,
Mm-hmm.
they're paying that extra 0.25% on soda they buy or,
Whatever.
whatever. It's regressive because it affects the lower income people the most.
Yes.
That is basic economics.
Yep.
So it would generate $100 million a year for 10 years.
That's a lot of money.
And the commissioner that put it forward,
To the hospitals? Who gets the money?
the county gets the money.
But
This is the thing. He doesn't even have a fully fledged plan on how that money's going to be spent. They allocated $10 million to pilot these cardiac screenings. And I think there's a specific cardiac screening.
cardiac screening. I'm just saying. What
Yeah.
What are they worried about?
I don't know.
What's affecting the cardiacs?
Well, yeah.
That's my point. I'm not gonna say it 'cause, when I get us kicked off YouTube.
Yeah. So
Just saying, and I'll leave you to deduce that yourself. I'm just.
There's an increase of cardiac issues.
Yes.
I know, but
Since-
why is there suddenly such an increase of cardiac
Since
issues?
2021.
But
Since 2021.
so this
when
test is available according to
people are
what I heard.
taking medication.
What I heard in the discussion today is this test is available. I don't think it's covered by insurance at all. Even if I went in with my Blue Cross
It's
Blue
just
Shield
like a
plan.
normal cardiac screen. What are we doing
like
here?
an EKG type of
No, it's a specific type of scan. I don't know. Yeah. So if you ask if it's covered by insurance,
This sounds so sketch.
I think we're not connected right now. But we'll keep
Yes,
going.
we are.
Oh, we are.
Are we live?
The chat's disconnected.
Oh, that's weird.
So
if, you,
we'll
if,
keep
you,
going.
if you're listening to us, give us a shout
Yeah.
so we know that you're here.
I just was gonna hit the mute button.
For what?
For me, because I'm tapping over here and getting all like, he's worried I'm going to start cursing.
So if you go and you request this screen and you ask if it's covered by insurance, they tell you no. It's going to cost you $250, $300, something like that, out of cash pay. If you wanted cash pay, well, obviously, those that can't afford it. But the county has piloted this program to pay for this.
Why?
To develop a test group, like to see, So they've been doing this pilot.
But why?
Because
Are only Broward citizens allowed to?
It's Broward
partake?
residents. It's a Broward program. Yes, you have to
So
be a
like
Broward County resident.
illegal, or undocumented people.
How do they
didn't
prove
come
that
up.
they're a Broward
Okay.
resident in order to be able to get this?
Well, we have community ID cards down there now. Probably.
What?
Yeah. The county commission was trying to pass.
Are they going to put a border control
I
between
know,
Palm Beach
I
County
know.
and Broward
So-
County and make me use my passport to come down?
I know. It's.
You gotta
it's
prove that you're a Broward County.
I don't know. I don't know all the details to this.
I have so many questions. Sorry,
So-
Abby, I'm totally interrupting, but I have so many
But
questions.
so they allocated $10 million to this pilot program. They've only spent $2 million because they couldn't get people to come in and do this test.
So there's such a high demand for this
Yeah.
test that they want to charge the taxpayers another 20 point.
They
quarter.
want to collect $100 million a year
Wait.
for this. Well, this is the thing, though. They want to.
Josie's gonna need a cardiac screening.
They want to lump
need a
in
glass of
cancer
wine.
screening. They want to add in cancer screening. They want to add in a whole bunch of different
Of course they do.
screenings.
Because then if they find something in somebody, then that's their cash cow.
I don't know. So
Sorry, I'm yelling, Stu. Sorry, I'm yelling.
So I listened after the fact because I had a meeting of my own. And I had to be in it this morning for my real work.
Your real job?
Yes, that day job. It just gets in the way of my politicking. But
Listen.
so the commission was definitely split on this issue.
Did anybody ask good questions?
Well, yeah, because I mean, like the whole thing had we have to pass the bill so we can read what's in the bill vibes. I mean, it really did. Because a lot of the commissioners and a lot of the commissioners that I generally disagree with most of the time, they're like you've given me no plan. I'm hard pressed to support this when there's no plan in front of me. Like it's $100 million a year, and you haven't told me how it's going to be spent. And we just talked about affordable housing 2 weeks ago. This is more the why are we not trying to pass this through the hospital districts? Because we have 2 separate hospital taxing districts in Broward County.
Two.
North Broward Hospital or Broward Health and Memorial.
Wait, does
Memorial's down in
everyone
South
pay those, or is
No,
it divided by
it's-
region?
It's region.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they the same amount? Do you know? I'm just curious.
I'd have to look
Okay, I
at.
was just curious.
Yeah, Memorial's down in the south part of the county, like Hollywood and Pembroke Pines. I would have to look at one of their property tax bills to see, but I know that the Broward Health was one of the few taxing districts last year that lowered their millage rate.
Oh, that's right. I do
Yeah.
remember you talking about that. Okay.
So
then why wouldn't? So that's a very valid question.
and a lot of the commissioners are like, we're not in the business of health. Why would the county get into the business of health?
Just
Good,
valid
point.
question. Yep.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, the commission voted 5-4 to move the process forward. They directed the city attorney to revise the proposed ordinance and ballot resolution. It's going to come up again before the commission next month. I think April 16th is the date that it's going to be added back to the agenda. There will be public hearings about the item.
Note your public hearings.
And that's where people need to show up and speak out against
Absolutely.
this. And I tell you what, I've only ever attended a county commission in person once. That was last year during the budget hearings. But the majority, of course, they happen during the day. But the majority of the people that show up are cheerleaders for the government handouts.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, give me the money. They use emotional pleas
Manipulation.
and manipulations. And it's, it's not that I don't feel bad. And listening to them discuss the screenings, like, if you've got an arterial blockage or whatever that this screen would pick up that you would otherwise not ever know about.
But if they can't even get people to if they haven't spent the money on the pilot program,
Right.
How is
Right.
it? How is
who's
it not,
getting the money?
How
Somebody.
is it
There's
not
some.
stepping into socialism?
Right.
Well, there's that.
Right.
That's the whole. I mean, there's so many factions of problems with this whole thing that
Yeah.
it's hard to even get into. A little.
Now it's like also too is it's like there's a big push to get rid of property taxes in Tallahassee, right? So
freaking men.
right, so it's like in order to overcome that, we would need to add or increase sales tax anyway if we
Fine,
didn't have.
'cause you know who's
going to
pay that? Tourists.
Exactly.
Well, and the commissioner that brought this agenda item forward, he said that he's like, it's not just going to be the residents paying this sales tax;
Right.
it's going to be the tourists. But it's like, well, but the tourists.
But
are
now
come and
everybody's
go.
going to come over Broward Line to go to Palm Beach.
Well, that's what I said. I said
buy their goods.
I will gladly drive into Boca to buy
Yeah.
whatever I need to buy
Yeah.
to save that extra 0.25% sales tax.
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. $100 million a year.
I mean, look, when you're already strapped, when you go in, the price of olive oil goes from $18 to $25 in 1 month, and you tack on a.
Can somebody please send Josie some olive oil?
No, I buy the oil. It is now my like thing.
I know what you're getting for Christmas now.
I'm very picky about my olive oil though, so
Jody or Josie has this going on.
rage. I feel like that little like cartoon character who's like, "Rah!" and his head goes red, explodes. I don't know who that
Anger
is.
from
That is
Anger.
anger.
From Inside Out.
Inside
And
Out.
apparently my kids thought that was me.
There's
It
another
was.
Inside Out
It was.
coming. There's a second
I
one
know, I
coming.
heard
I'm
that. I
excited.
loved- I
It's
heard that.
really
That was
cute.
one of
It's
my
a cute
favorites.
movie.
I've
I
never
did
seen
too.
it.
Oh, it's so good. It helps you.
Oh,
It's so
so good.
cute. It's
Yeah,
really
so
good. I don't say that about a lot of movies. Oh, I will say this though. Sorry, Cabrini was phenomenal.
Oh, was it?
Yes, I highly recommend. I was like, there
That's
were
the
moments.
one from Angel Studios,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
from Angel Studios. There were a couple moments because does touch on immigration a lot, and so I'm like, are they trying to say anything about like the current immigration situation that we're in? But I had to keep remembering it was like it's a period piece, and like what was going on then with the immigration is not what's going on now. It's very different. Anyway, it was very good. It was very inspiring. It was well done. It had good music. It had great acting. It was an overall great movie.
I'm loving everything that's coming
So
out from-
yeah, we
from
also
Angel
watched
Studios.
that one that was like the sci-fi one. We watched that one too, which I can't remember the name of it now. The Stitch in Time. I don't remember. I don't remember. I can't remember. I'm
That's
picturing
all
the actor who's in it. Anyway, that one was also good. But Cabrini was like you left like rah. It was very inspiring.
The Chosen is also from Angel Studios.
The Chosen
Yes.
is from Angel
Yeah,
Studios.
that was great.
That's also really.
I haven't
good.
watched the newest season yet.
I'm a season or two behind.
Yeah.
So I'm never home. At night, either me
I
or my
know.
husband are gone. Almost one of us is gone almost every night, like
Yeah.
regularly. So we can't ever. And we want to watch it. We watch it together.
Yeah.
Right.
We're way behind. So anyway, okay. So back to Broward
So
shenanigans.
yeah,
Broward's got a Broward.
I
hour.
think so. I mean, the commissioners that voted yes today, there was a portion of them that voted yes out of respect to the commissioner that brought the agenda item forward.
Listen, when you get elected, any candidate out there, do not vote yes for something to please someone up on the dais.
But I think they fully expect it to get killed at the next meeting. Like, I think that most of them are going to have a hard time because he's not going to put a plan together in a couple weeks.
So, like, how do you come with something like this? And
I
with
don't
no plan?
know.
I don't understand.
I don't know. He's been working on this for over 2 years now. I mean, they first brought out this cardiac
He's
screening.
been working on it for 2 years.
Yeah, it first got
So
like I
it
With
came
no
out
plan?
Right after that.
well
one
the
disease
pilot
that
the
really doesn't
pilot
exist.
project was supposed to be part of the plan. What'd you say, Stu?
So he brought this out shortly after that one disease that really didn't exist.
Or the cure
Virus.
that they tried to make everyone take, or that cure, the preventative measure that they tried to take everyone take that now make everyone take that could be now causing cardiac problems 2 years ago.
Yep, that's one.
I
Not a
can tell you when they were talking about it before because I tweeted about it back in the day.
I'm super curious, actually, what is happening. I want to know who he's connected to in the medical screening world that he's going to get campaign donations for.
Ooh.
You're not supposed to ask questions like that, Josie.
I can't believe that.
Well, I'm a rebel. I was homeschooled.
You can't think that
No.
logically.
I was homeschooled, apparently. What did that person say one time in the Cobra meeting? They called homeschoolers imitation schooling.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I will shout out to my parents for homeschooling me because I went to this event today that was called Public School Exit, and the history of public schools is atrocious, and it's a crime against humanity.
October 19th, 2021. Over 2 years ago. 2.5 years
That's
ago.
a head scratcher.
2020, October 2021. Gee.
At that time, he asked for a half-cent sales tax on future
half
ballot.
a cent?
Half a cent.
That's so much money.
To finance high-tech advanced heart scan for eligible residents for preventative health care to save lives.
He's got to be getting money.
He's got to be getting kickbacks from this.
And I said, Broward residents, is this not something you can request through your healthcare provider and insurance? Why do we need to fund this through another sales tax increase? So that was 2.5 years ago.
What's your sales tax at now?
1.
And
We
they
were
wanna
one of the
raise it
last
how much?
counties. Well, he was trying for a half cent. Now he's trying for a quarter cent. He's lowered it. But I mean, it needs to be even lower because you don't need $100 million a year.
It needs to be
that.
nothing. It needs to be nothing. You don't need health screens. I'm sorry. I know that people need health things, but this just seems so ick. It's just like an ick factor on so many levels.
Yeah.
Is he running for something else
No.
ever?
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, who knows? I mean, he may run.
Well, there was an article in the Sun Sentinel about how the infant mortality in Florida is extremely high.
Really?
Yeah, like
Did they have any contributing
I
factors?
didn't read the whole article. It just kind of shoved, this is now a problem that we've never had before. So it's like, okay, babies are dying more than before, and now you're saying that there's this increase of heart issues that
That's
we've
a
never been
conversation I'm
experiencing.
gonna have
that
offline.
then-
I can't have that on YouTube. I'll get us banned.
So,
No, seriously, I'll
I
get us
mean,
banned.
definitely, I mean, this is. I can't help but to put my tinfoil hat on for a second because it's like we have all of this issues of that they've been
As
trying
long
to
as
do.
it's bedazzled.
Of course, it's sparkly.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. As long as it's a bedazzled, sparkly tinfoil hat, why not? Put it on. Let's go, Jess.
It's like they have been trying to push for years, like a socialism healthcare system.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it's like now all of a sudden we're starting to get more health issues. So it's like, isn't that interesting how then it's like you're going to have to become dependent on a government system in order to have healthcare?
Well, not only that. Okay, so not only that, they're trying to, the food, the water, the air. It used to be, if I would have said 2, 3, 4 years ago, oh, those things in the sky are chemtrails and they're geoengineering our weather, people laugh and they think you're crazy. And you're like, no. In Tennessee, they are literally passing actual legislative bills to prevent that. Obviously, they're doing that because it is something. So putting on my tinfoil hat, which is not bedazzled, it's just got some marker on it because my daughter made it, I believe that you're correct in the socialism vein of, getting everyone dependent on the government, but they're also getting everyone dependent on the government through all of the health interventions that they give us starting the day that literally we're born. And then going through, and you go to the doctor and they get on the cycle. I can't even tell you how many kids I know who have, who are on all medications. When I take my children to the pediatrician and I say they are not diagnosed with anything, they are not seeing specialists for anything, they don't have ADD, they don't have ADHD, they're not on medication. They look at me like I've lost my mind. They're like, the nurses are always like, none of them? I'm like, no, my son has a little bit of stomach, sensitive stomach, but
Yeah.
Really? None. They think it's like the craziest thing in the world, and that's how common it is.
It used to be that you only went to the doctor if you were sick and absolutely needed to.
Yeah. But even if you go to the doctor, they don't help. It's not health care. It's not preventative.
Sick care.
If you want to actually go to a health, preventative care doctor, like a more holistic style doctor, and get blood work done for get your hormones checked or get this checked, you pay out of pocket. We had to pay. I'm not even going to say how much we had to pay to take my son to a functional health practitioner, because when I take him to the pediatrician, they're like, he's fine. Do you want some antibiotics?
Mm-hmm.
For what? I don't know. He's got swollen glands.
They're
I don't know.
professional drug
Yeah.
pushers.
So my point is I don't want to get out too much on that rant, but I agree. I think it's twofold. So it's one, the way that they structure our healthcare system is to cause us to be sick. And then once we become dependent on the need for the medications and the need for all these things and all these issues, well, then they say, oh, here, government, here, I can help you pay for that. Oh, there's so many programs to help you pay for this. There's so many programs to help you pay for that.
Yeah.
And then here we are. Nobody's focusing on health. Nobody's focusing on diet, good food, clean food.
Yeah.
Getting clean food is super difficult.
Yeah. Well, that was the one thing that upset me so bad with
Sorry.
the pandemic was the fact that they weren't focusing on healthcare.
No.
Healthcare of eating right,
Going to
They
sun.
closed the gyms.
They
told
closed
you to
the
order
bloody
food.
beaches.
Right. So I'm like, you can't tell me that this is about healthcare.
No.
Now, in my experience, I worked in the healthcare field for a long time. I did both, holistic, chiropractic, acupuncture side, but then I also did medical, doctor, geriatric, weight loss medicine side. So it's like I got to see both sides of how it works. And so I'm so thankful that I had that experience on both sides because it allowed me to kind of look above it, because it's like you did have those, crazy, aspects of natural, aspects, and then no medical intervention if you had diabetes or, whatever, which is just kind of silly. But then also the medical aspects of like the drug companies and everything that would come in, the doctors.
Why does someone have diabetes and why is it on the rise so much? And what are we doing to actually fix it instead of?
And then working with doctors that either, were like, really wanting to find what the root cause of the problem is, which that's the kind of doctor that you want. Or you also had the doctors that were like, oh, let's try this medication. This just came in. Here's a free sample, like, oh, I have to, I get a bonus if, all, 90% are vaccinated, things of that nature. So it's like they push those numbers in order to get that money from the pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
And so it's really a racket. Like if you really look at how it's set up, it is not in our best interest. And if anything, COVID taught us that. We were able to look and kind of really see the ugly side of medicine in general. And so to really kind of be able, like my first aspects, if I don't feel well or anything else, I go to the chiropractor. Let me make sure my body is operating, functioning at 100%. And then it's acupuncture, and then it's massage. And then if it's beyond that, then I'm like, okay, I need some type of medical intervention, whatever that is. But it's like,
we have to pay out of pocket for all those things versus if you go
Correct.
to a doctor and you get the medication, oh, it's a $10 copay.
Yep.
But if you want to go take a health route or you're going to take a more holistic approach to it, insurance companies don't cover that. Government programs don't cover that. There's nothing to cover anything that is actually
preventative.
Yeah. So if you pay, you're paying out the nose for insurance, and then you're like, well, I can't even use it for this, or they don't accept it, or it doesn't cover it.
I find this very interesting that now, this is a whole nother aspect that's now being brought into Broward County elections, right? Because it's like, this is now, something else that people have to pay attention to, and something else that they have to make sure that they're asking their candidates about to, or be holding their officials accountable. And, again, like, what does that have to do with running, the county? Like, especially when there is a healthcare district.
That's crazy pants. And not only that, there's the there's the healthcare district, and then we have like the Department of Health in the state of Florida that has Department of Health places that you can get all kinds of things at. Like, it seems like it's government overstep and overreach and sticking their nose in places that it doesn't belong, which generally when they do that, and they're doing it because they're going to get money or power. That's what motivates politicians,
it's
money and power.
Making the citizens pay for something that they're not actually going to necessarily benefit or use.
No.
That it's segmented to a particular, section of the public.
Especially because when you have an affordable housing crisis and you're like, oh, but you can't live, you don't have a place for you to live, but come get your heart screened.
Right.
Yeah.
So whack.
So just wanted
to go back on the corner.
I just want to interject here. So based on what I see, it looks like we're offline, but we're streaming still. We're still live. Like when I'm on my phone and I'm texting with Legia, and she can see us live on YouTube, and I pulled up both YouTube and Rumble on my phone.
So we're rocking.
So we are live.
but we're not getting
Yeah,
like
'cause I don't
chats
have-
and stuff.
I don't have anything here. That's
She said
wrong.
audio and video. Great. For some reason, my computer is not connected to the internet.
It's your computer. Shame. I'm just kidding.
So, but
Let me log in.
the last
That
like
was-
15 minutes, I thought we'd been offline, and I was like, okay, well, we'll just do the
No.
same
Rocking
thing. but
and-
We've
we're
been on
good.
here and it's been saving and everything.
It's just my
so-
computer then. I don't know.
Your computer's freaking out. It's China. It's China. China. Which we did get to see the big man himself at Lincoln Day dinner.
We did.
that was
we
crazy.
did. And he secured 78% of the vote in Palm
yes,
Beach County
he did.
for the presidential primary.
I mean, is anybody worried?
I'm not worried.
Worried about.
Was anyone worried that he would do that?
Oh yeah.
I was not. I did not think he was going to lose the primary in Florida. It's somewhat concerning to me that Nikki Haley got as much of the vote that she did.
I think those are the Democrats that switched parties.
exactly. Which I
Maybe
thought
it'll be
was
interesting
hilarious.
to see like the shift in registrations
Yes,
now.
so that's something we need to be watching is the shift in registrations as we
Yeah.
go into the primary season in the regular primary.
But I will say, like just as someone just playing devil's advocate here, and I know this is not our normal topic, federal as opposed to local, but the fact that there was a percentage of Republican voters in Florida that did not vote for Trump in the primary,
Mm-hmm.
he's going to have to win those voters back for the general because he needs every single Republican vote he can get,
Yep.
and then some in the
Mhm.
general in November. So
Yep.
I just, I hope that, now it's like, yep, he's our candidate. He's,
We'll see what
he's
happens.
been the candidate.
Yes, but now it's an official thing. And it's interesting. I was talking to someone asked me, at Lincoln Day, someone was asking me how Bill's campaign was going. And, he has, does he have it in the bag or whatever? And I was like, listen, let me explain something on campaign cycles. Remember back, it was exactly 4 years ago that day, when Lincoln Day was. It was around exactly 4 years ago when we hit 15 days to slow the spread.
Oh, yeah.
And look what happened between March of that year
Yes.
to November of that year. Look at all the crazy things that went on.
Yeah.
Well, November is a long way away.
Very long time.
Time is
Long
flying.
ways
I
away.
can't believe I'm already looking at the end of March. So time is flying by. So it's going to be here quickly.
Yeah.
But things are going to change very quickly. And we still have
Yeah.
over 2 months before qualifying.
And you can also see that. I mean, you can also see that in the narrative is changing
Right.
in the mainstream media.
Right. We're shifting into it. And
Yeah.
so I just want to encourage everyone to buckle up, to not have to just put our heads down. We got to work. We got to focus. We got to try to have fun. I'm trying to make Bill's campaign as fun as possible, because it's going to be a lot of work. And just to remember, and that's the thing, things can change like that. And we there's nothing guaranteed. There's nothing in the bag. The only guarantee that we have is death and taxes.
Yep. And
Hopefully it's not death by taxes.
seriously, simultaneously, I need April 15th to get here as fast as possible.
And
but
you're like,
also,
no,
I'm like,
no.
wait, I still have
You're
so
like
many
this.
returns
You're
left
like
to prepare.
this. Come on, April 15th. Come
I'm
and
telling
go.
you,
Come and go.
I said this last year, and I'm gonna say it again. I have got to
Say it,
upload some of
Abby,
these
say
tax
it.
returns. I have way too many tax returns for the limited amount
So
of time.
don't
I have.
hire Abby for your taxes.
No, I have gotten a lot better at saying no this year because people, hey, I heard you do taxes. No,
No, I do not do taxes.
not anymore. The shop is closed, and I mean, to be honest with you,
Shunned.
it's one thing.
I'm the
if
same
it's-
thing. Can you help me?
No,
Sorry.
no.
I don't do taxes, so I wouldn't suggest asking me. Just throwing that out there. We already did ours. My husband did it.
I have pretty much prepared my own, but I am of the mindset that as a self-preparer, I can paper file my return if I want to.
Mhm.
As a paid preparer, a client has to opt out of e-file
Oh.
if you prepare some more than so many returns. I paper file mine because I think it makes it harder for the IRS to flag it for review.
I agree with that
Good
statement.
point.
It
we
does
already
slow
filed
down-
ours,
it
so
does slow
down the process.
It slows down the process, and it slows down if you're expecting a refund, it's going to take longer for them to get
yeah.
it to
See,
you.
we
But
needed our refund. 'Cause,
Yeah.
we live because of freaking olive oil.
but
Just gonna say that.
yeah, no, for my clients, I love the fact that I can click a button and file their return most of the time. And, they get the refund in a week if they get a refund.
Yeah, it took us a while to get our refund. Actually,
Let me tell you about 2020.
Oh gosh,
It took 6 months for me to get my refund.
jeez,
Because
I don't
literally,
remember.
mail sat at the IRS
Because nobody
in
was
boxes.
working.
millions of pieces of mail. Millions of pieces
Can
of
you
mail sat
imagine the
unopened.
person who had to open that door and be like,
And because it was a government employee, they had on an N95 and gloves.
and gloves and
and-
hazmat
and
suit.
Lysol
Oh,
wipes.
speaking of that, so I attended my
no.
final code enforcement board meeting Tuesday
Okay.
night. I was not on the dais because the commission last week had voted to appoint or approve the alternate members up to full time or regular board members, and so I was out. But I went to I got yeeted from the code enforcement board. I went to say goodbye and just to thank the board, for allowing it was a great experience. It got me. I mean, I think it was my third meeting. They made me run the meeting because the chair and the vice chair were both absent. And so here I am, directing the whole meeting. I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands. But the usual city attorney that's usually at the code enforcement board meetings, he was not there. I know, some people's kids were on spring break this week. So depending on where he lives, I don't know if that was the reason. But the person that was there in his place, she attended with him last month as well. N95 mask.
No.
Yeah. And I'm like,
I don't get it. I
you
don't
realize
get it.
you're in Lighthouse Point, right?
I don't. And I still. Where was I when I saw at the library? Somebody always at the library. Some of the employees still.
I just think there's just such a fear.
I don't understand.
I see people at Aldi all the time that are wearing masks.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and gloves.
Oh, I did see someone wearing gloves.
I was
actually
at-
not too long ago.
I was eating at Charm City Burger on Hillsborough.
Oh, I love Charm City.
Oh my gosh, let me tell you.
I haven't been there in so long.
I hadn't either. And a friend of mine was in town, a college friend who used to live down here,
I'm
and
hungry.
she was staying with me last week. She was taking a cheap spring break, and she stayed with me half the week. And I was like, let's go to Charm City. I was like, was it here when you lived here? And she's like, I don't think so, because this was back right after college. But so we're sitting outside right along Hillsborough there, east of Federal, and I look across and there's a bus stop.
Yeah.
Right across the street from the restaurant. And there's a person waiting for the bus stop.
Outside.
In a mask.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, we were outside of a polling location on Tuesday, and there was a lady walking around the parking lot with a mask on.
Yep.
Beautiful day.
Beautiful, gorgeous
Sunny.
day.
Gorgeous. The weather. This is the most perfect spring break weather.
It's been so great.
the cloud seeding.
Although I hear this weekend's weather's going to be real crappy. Rain.
My kids
wind.
wanted to swim.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I can sleep all weekend.
I
Get your
would
rest now, Jessica.
I would,
That's
except
what
I
I'm
have
saying.
tax returns to prepare,
Tax
and I will be getting the pre-agenda binder
Oh,
sometime
yeah.
tomorrow.
So, Abby, when are you getting
Yes.
sworn in?
Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.
Tuesday night is the big night.
Woo!
And I actually am taking the morning off from work tomorrow, and I am meeting with a bunch of the administration at Lighthouse Point
nice.
just to kind of officially meet them. I mean, I've talked to a lot of them in the
Yeah,
past,
right.
but to meet them in the capacity as the
and
commissioner.
just hear more about what's going on in the city and what's in the pipeline for upcoming meetings and obviously we're getting into budget season.
Are you excited?
I mean, I am because
nervous?
it's yes both yes and yes
All the things.
yeah.
All the things.
So so I'm taking the morning to do that, and
What do you think is going to be your biggest challenge once you get into office?
I think finding my voice on the dais and just, I'm more of a listener. I've been attending these commission meetings for 2 years now, and rarely do I give public comments.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's so funny. It's so funny. I gave public comments at the end of the last meeting because it was Commissioner Sandy Johnson's last meeting, and I felt like I should get up there and I just thank her for her service, thank her for mentoring me. She took a liking to me back after I ran 2 years ago. She appointed me to the Charter Review Committee. Obviously, she supported me to run for her seat and she was going to endorse me and campaign for me and all of that good stuff.
All the things.
Had I run a race. So I wanted, but I get so nervous when I go up to give public comment. I could sit on the dais all day long, like when I was on Charter Review and all that. Now, it could be different next week when I'm actually in front of the meeting. But I don't think so. I think it's something about approaching the dais with them up, kind of raised up in front of me. I still got nervous last week.
It's
Now, I
intimidating.
did not get
very
nervous
intimidating.
Tuesday night because I did give public comment at the Code Enforcement Board meeting at the end because I was sitting in the audience Tuesday night. I didn't get that nervous Tuesday night.
No, there's something about it. Listen, I've given public comment. In lots and lots of county commission meetings, and then and then a couple times in city council meetings. And the one that I did give when I did give public comment about when they increased our beach pass price.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
was very ticked about that because it was a very large
Thank
percentage.
you for being our voice for that.
You're
I
welcome. There's
appreciate it.
nobody else in the room. It's like me and I think Brian. We're the only two people in the audience, staff and the city council people. And I walked up and my hands were shaking. And I was like, why am I so nervous? I talk to these people all the time, like one-on-one. And they're not even sitting up because we're not even meeting in a freaking like actual.
That just blows my mind. That you
Council
guys are like meeting in a off-site location.
Oh, it's so stupid. That was one of the biggest things I was hoping. Not one, but like a thing I was hoping when Brian got elected, which I know he would have immediately pushed for. So, listen, if you're listening, city council, move it back to the building. This is ridiculous.
Put it back to city.
We're
limit.
like be in the
Inside
city. What's up?
Anything
I know
else?
you were in the middle of
No.
of
So,
conversation.
I was what was I gonna say? I don't remember.
Yeah. Got it pulled up.
So we're live.
Yeah, we're live on
Yeah,
both
we've been live.
platforms. We've been
Rocking
live.
and rolling.
And we've got a few. I finally pulled up the live chat on my personal. Like I have my personal account on my phone, and
We got some chats.
Rose said they're testing for the end results of Wu flu, psychotic hypochondria. Here, Josie, helped you.
Thanks.
And it's all going to the poison gnome fascist friends. So yeah,
Oh my god.
Was that Fauci you said?
Fauci. What's his?
Fauci
I
or
think it's a
fascist?
combination of Fauci and fascist.
Faucists. They're all
Faucists.
worshiping at the Faucist altar of Faucist. Listen, what a wild time. Everyone's posting 'cause it's the anniversary. So I was like, on X, like this last week. I haven't been on social media a whole lot because I've been so
Well, I
bloody
got
busy.
a shout out from the Florida GOP on Tuesday night.
You did?
I did.
Yes, I saw it.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So my Twitter kind of blew up on Wednesday. Just people like
you gotta
retweeting.
tweet it to and tag the locals.
You did. I did.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
See, I haven't been. I'm sorry.
Come
I haven't been
on,
on. I
man.
know. I should know. I should know. I haven't been on as much as I would like. I get
I-
on to check something quickly, and then I'm off. I'm like, I haven't been able to really catch up on a lot of things.
Yeah.
But it's been interesting. Some of the things I have kind of rabbit holes I've gone down, or people are posting. They're like, "What's the craziest thing that happened that you saw during COVID?" Or what? Here are some
'cause
memories. 'cause
we're
it's
at
for
the
the
4-year
anniversary.
anniversary.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't think about it that often.
Yeah.
But golly, we lived through the craziest things.
I tell you what, one of the craziest things that happened to me happened in 2021. I think it was in like late spring of 2021, and I was meeting a coaching client at the local Starbucks at Hillsborough and Federal, and we're sitting there talking, and obviously things had been reopened for like a year at that point.
Mhm.
I think that's right around the time that the mask mandates ended. Like the governor's like, no, we're ending all this. We're not doing this anymore. So we're in Starbucks. There's like nobody else inside Starbucks. And this older couple comes in and orders at the counter and then comes and sits like at the table literally right next to us. like the whole restaurant's open and they come right next to us. And like I notice out of the corner of my eye that the woman, she's like watching us and she's kind of like eavesdropping.
Giving you the evil eye too.
And then the next thing I know, she's like, "Excuse me, but are you guys vaccinated?"
no.
And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I don't share my personal medical information with strangers."
Yeah.
I was just like, if you are concerned about my vaccination status, maybe you should move to a different table because we were here
Did you
first.
say that?
I didn't say the second part, but I did say the first part.
What'd she say when you said that?
I don't honestly like. I don't. Even remember if this- But I was just like, I was like, I can't believe
The
that somebody
audacity.
is asking me about my personal medical information.
Oh yeah.
A complete stranger.
Oh, I know. Listen, I had this lady. Here's my craziest. Not craziest. I have lots of crazies. This was
Yeah,
like
you're out on the front lines a lot more than I was.
I was like blocked from Costco. I had a lot of crazy stuff. My husband would be like, I'm going to the gas station to like get water, beer, or whatever. He's like, have the bail money ready. We'll see what happens. He got kicked out of a couple of gas stations. I got kicked out of Costco. It took me 6 months after the mask mandates went away to pull up to Costco and not have a freak out before I walked in. Like I had like PTSD from because I would be the only person. So Costco was the first. Sorry, this is not the story I was going to tell you, but Costco was like the first store. Like they implemented mask mandates before.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Well, because they're from Washington State, right?
They were the beginning of May, and then Palm Beach County didn't implement a mask mandate until the end of June.
Is that
And
why
so-
your
why?
picture's up in Costco?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Public
It's
enemy
public
number one.
enemy number one. So we when they put it in the mandate, I called Costco and I was like, "Listen, I have a medical condition and I can't wear a mask. Like, am I going to be allowed to still shop?" And they were like, "Absolutely. Just if anyone asks, just let them know we have exemptions." And I was like, "Great." So I'm shopping. I still got asked every time I walked in by the employees, by the people. We got accosted by this lady screaming at me and my husband one day, cursing at us and the kids. Like, we were asked to leave because she was causing a disturbance, and it was just insanity. And then they removed the exemptions, and I remember standing, and I was like, this guy, like this employee, was like standing over me. He was probably like over 6 feet tall, standing over me and just looking down at me and being like, I have the same condition, because he asked me my condition. At that point I'm like terrified, so I'm like telling him what's going on. He's like, I have the same thing, blah 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 blah, I have asthma. And he's like, blah blah, and I can wear a mask. And I'm like, well, that's good for you. Like, I don't know what, it was crazy. Anyway, that was Costco. So this is the craziest story. This was like my first, like, oh my gosh, people are insane moment. I went to Publix, and I'm in Publix and I'm shopping, not wearing a mask. And this lady is just standing there. It's not an employee, just a woman. Probably, I'm going to guess she was probably in her 60s or so. Just starts screaming at me, yelling at me. Why aren't you wearing a mask? It's people like you. That's why I had to bury my mother. And she's just, and I'm like, so first of all, you're like in your 60s or 70s. That mom means your mom was probably in like her 80s or 90s. And that's all going on in my head. And I'm like, and I'm so sorry, but like, I don't think that's my fault. Like, if your mom was in her 90s, I'm pretty sure that it's not. And I'm just like backing up, and she's like coming closer and closer and closer to me. And so I'm like up against like the aisle of food, and she's like right here in my face, like in my personal space, yelling at me. And I was like, oh my gosh, lady. I was like, get back up. What are you doing? And so this woman, I think she was an angel from heaven. She like swoops in. And she goes, ma'am, you need to calm down. Like, you need to back away. I'm a nurse, and it's fine if she doesn't want to wear a mask. It's okay. That's her personal. Like, she just like diffused this whole situation, and the woman like just like, ooh, and like walked away. And she looked at me, and she's like, I'm so sorry. People are crazy. And I was like, apparently.
Yeah,
because this was like early on too.
Yeah.
It was insane. And so shout out to that woman, because she was like, I don't know what would happen. I was about to push this, like, get physical, because she was like in my space. I was like, if you're so worried,
why are you all up in my face?
Up in my grill. It's like, back up.
It really was a crazy time.
crazy.
And it was like, I just, people just lost their minds.
I was like, are you? But
What is amazing to me is that this was not that long ago.
No.
And it's like so many people have forgotten.
people said that if we didn't vaccinate our children, that our children should be taken away from us.
Yeah, well, yeah.
People
I mean,
said
anybody,
that.
Well, and they wanted to cast the unvaccinated just completely out of society. They wanted to take away
people
our.
said that. Like, this was not just like
Yeah.
a conversation. This is what people were actually saying and demanding and voting in polls.
Yeah.
They like polled people to ask this question, and people said yes.
There is not a single unvaccinated person that has what's the word I'm looking for? That has
regretted not.
regretted not taking it.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Many people who took it regret it.
Many.
So it's
Including the ones
interesting.
being screened?
A Twitter friend of mine posted something last night about like checking to see what lists he was on, and I was like, "Oh, I've never done that."
Oh, you
So-
can do that.
Yeah, you can check
Oh, I
to see
wanna
what
check
list
the
you're on.
list.
So like literally like half of the lists that I'm on, well, one half of the lists I'm on have to do with like the Florida GOP or whatever, REC's GOP, whatever. The other half of the lists I'm on are all about like mask counters, mask spotters on planes, scared of masks. So like apparently because I think when I started flying again, which I started flying
Yeah.
in like fall of 2020, I would say, or no, I tell you what it was. When they lifted the mask mandate on flights
Yeah.
in 2021, I think, whenever
I don't
it was.
remember. It was late.
I
It was a long time.
I might have tweeted a few times about being at Fort Lauderdale Airport and seeing like how many people were not wearing masks anymore because they weren't required to.
So how many people were actually scared versus how many people were just
So
complying?
I got put on lists.
Oh yeah, I want to know how to look
How
on the
do I
list.
check
How
on
do I
the
check the
list?
list?
So you go to your
Well-
profile.
Okay, we're gonna all do this
Oh,
together.
yeah.
Ready?
You go to your
On
profile
Twitter?
on Twitter. So you go to
Okay.
under profile.
Profile.
There's lists, right?
Okay.
So you go to lists, and then you go to the little 3 dots at the top, and it says lists you're on.
Profile lists.
And then
I haven't been added to any
List you're on.
lists.
You're not active enough.
I'm disappointed.
I'm surprised you're not. Because
you know what? I don't actually tweet a lot.
Yeah.
I don't tweet my own tweets.
I just remember.
I don't.
You
I just do a lot of retweets.
lurk.
I lurk and I retweet. my social media, especially during COVID, I did get on Twitter a lot more. Actually, that's how I got interviewed by some newspaper about masks that they found me through Twitter. So I'm actually kind of surprised.
Yeah.
I should feel like I should be on some lists. I mean, I know I'm on some list somewhere, but I use more Instagram and Facebook.
I haven't been added to any lists
Well,
yet.
apparently,
You're just
I'm
a
mask
troublemaker.
sweater.
Now we're going to be on lists just by
I
association.
think the lists are all by like the same person. Or
It says that someone has to add you to be on a list.
Oh.
yes,
How do you add someone to a list?
you can create lists and you can add people to those
create
lists.
your own list.
And then
This
like
is
if you
fascinating. I'm gonna be doing tonight.
I think then like you can switch from like your normal feed to like your list feed, and then you only see.
People who are on
On
your
the
list.
list, yeah.
Oh.
I never use that feature.
I feel like it's,
I'll
I'll forget. And
I've
then
been
I'll
trying
just,
to be a little bit more active in,
I need
in
to be
Twitter.
more
I
active.
tried this
I gained
last
about.
weekend.
I gained about 30 followers on it yesterday, just because of the
Really?
Florida GOP
Oh, that's
Oh.
awesome.
tweeting about my
Come on,
election.
Florida GOP, shout me out. Just kidding.
I just remember
I don't
with,
tweet.
with as far as masks that our daughter told us, "Oh, Publix, you don't have to wear a mask anymore."
Yeah.
And so that was the first time Jessica and I went to the store together, probably in a year.
Yeah.
Because we used to just order groceries.
I did
yeah.
Instacart.
Yeah.
I still love Instacart.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, man,
But-
they tack on the fees.
I know.
It's
it's
so
still,
expensive.
It's still worth it
But we're
for
walking
me
through the
sometimes.
store, and this guy comes up to us and goes, "You don't have to wear masks in the stores anymore?"
People didn't know.
And we're like, "No." He took that thing right off.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
we had another guy walk by and says, "Are you vaccinated?" It's like,
none of your business.
none of your
None of your business. I cannot believe people have the audacity to ask your personal medical information. It's
Yeah.
like, it's, oh my gosh.
I'm telling you, those that are not vaccinated, our blood is going to be worth a lot of money. And Janine, and Janine's like, I'm a pure blood. I'm a pure
bloods unite.
Oh, shout out to Janine too. She did her first set of Party at the Polls over the weekend.
She
in
said
the
the North County was a success too.
Ooh,
yeah,
yeah.
she did say that
Yeah.
earlier.
Good job,
Yeah.
Janine.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Party at the polls. It's a warm up. It's a warm up for August and November.
Don't you wish the weather was like the March
Oh.
Municipals
Yes.
for August and November?
Oh my gosh, see, that's
It
the
was
hardest
so
part.
nice.
hot. It was
hot
last
2 years
Saturday. And
Yeah,
It
but
was.
it's not going to
Yeah.
be hot like it isn't going to be in August.
No.
Right.
I just remember door knocking ahead of the
Uh-huh.
primaries
Oh,
in
yeah.
July, and it was for some reason I just remember not raining very much.
It didn't rain a lot.
It didn't rain a lot.
It was
and
so hot last
so
summer.
So hot.
I know. We
Yeah.
went door knocking. We started in August for Marcy's campaign, and it
Yeah.
was brutal. My
It
poor
was.
kid. He was in the stroller, and he was like all in good spirits when we started. He was like 3 at the time, which is
Yeah.
insane.
And I just like I'll give a shout out. Just speaking of the August primaries and stuff, like if you want to get involved, if you're
Yeah.
not already involved in the REC or involved for a specific candidate or whatever, they're going to be looking to build their teams now.
Yeah, we're looking. I mean, I can just speak for my own personal candidate process.
I have candidates already reaching out to me like,
need
okay, what do we need? I
volunteers.
need to
Yeah.
get started, let's go. And so it's like everybody's looking for, for volunteers. Everybody's looking for help.
Yeah.
Contributions.
And-
Contribution.
And I'm telling you right now, if you are a candidate and you want help come August and November, please, 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 please help in these Wellingtons and Pahokee races right now, because that is going to help you get more volunteers, because then they know that you are a hard worker and that you're looking to help the Republican Party in general and not just yourself.
Does that mean if you're not helping that you might not get help?
Well,
what goes around comes around.
I would say it makes people more willing to help you when they've seen you help other people.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say too, you don't have to live in the area. If you don't live in Wellington, you don't want to drive up to door knock. You can help with texting.
Yeah.
You can help with making phone calls. There's other things
Yes.
you can do from home, so you don't have to just be. You don't have to go up
We
to the
have an
district to door knock.
amazing volunteer coordinator for the
Yeah.
REC in Palm
She's
Beach County.
really great.
Emily is amazing. She
Yeah.
can get
And
you
she's just so sweet.
so sweet.
She's
so
just
sweet.
like the
shout out
sweetest
to
person.
Emily.
Yeah,
if
shout out
you're-
to Emily.
if
She's
you're
the
watching.
sweetest person.
And I mean, she's on point. She's getting lists together quickly. She's getting, lots. I mean, she's just organized and she's doing a great job. So definitely reach out if you are interested in volunteering for these. I mean, what is it? April 20? Is it April 20th?
What?
No.
Oh, the runoff?
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
April-
Actually, I was gonna ask.
Shoot.
I don't know. I haven't got that far. It's been a long
I know.
couple.
I think
been a
it's
long couple of
April-
days.
It's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks.
And it's just gonna be one. It's just gonna be one day, right? Of voting. They're not gonna have like any
Yep,
early
there's
voting,
no-
right?
There's no early voting from what I understand.
Oh, yeah, it'll be election day only because it's a runoff and it's just
Mm-hmm.
municipals.
But I do believe that they will get their mail-in ballot if they voted.
If
So
they have
they have
requested it.
they have to send out another round of mail-in vote by mail ballots.
Yeah.
Roe asked, "Do school board races have primaries?" No, school board races are just general races that happen at the time of the primary. Now, if
Yes.
none of the candidates get 50% of the vote,
Mm-hmm.
then it goes to a runoff on the November ballot.
Correct.
Right.
So it's
That's
not.
what happened.
It's
because
because they're nonpartisan, just like the municipal elections are nonpartisan. You don't know the
Party.
party.
That's
going
going
to
to change though. For
Did they
school board-
pass? Did they pass it?
From what I heard, I didn't check myself, but I heard that it is now going to be partisan.
I thought that it was going to be both school board and municipals.
I hope so. I would love that.
Yeah.
Well,
What's
so
your guys' thought on that?
I don't know. I mean,
have
I'm
mixed
torn.
thoughts. So I think my one half of my brain, I'm torn too, Abby. So
Yeah.
like this is my thought process.
I
One
see
half
both sides of
me
it.
is like, in my idealistic world, I don't want it because we live in the communities. We see these people
And the
all
issues
the time.
at the local level are not partisan
The issues at the are not partisan issues. So in my idealistic perfect world and what I think we should be we were designed for, I don't think that we should. Unfortunately, we don't live in that world. We live in a world where, especially for the last 20 years or so, one party has decided that they're going to play politics with the partisan elections, and the other party is just now catching up to playing. What? We're here. And so I think at this point, I think the horse has left the gate, and we need to now fix.
I don't know.
something.
I don't know when you ran, but when I ran 2 years ago, when I was knocking doors,
Yeah.
like most people ask me.
Everyone asks. Oh yeah, I get asked
Everybody
all the
asks.
time.
So people care.
Yes.
Like people care.
So we've
what
gotten
your
to the point
affiliation
where
is.
people care about it.
Well, the thing of it is, I think if you are a Republican and you ask that question, you just want the
I
decision.
only got asked by Republicans.
Right. You wanted clarification that you were voting or that you were voting for a like-minded candidate. And I think that, those of us that live in this world, it's like we eat and breathe all of this stuff, right? So it's like we're very in tune with what's going on and we know who the candidates are. But if you're living your life and you are going to work and all of that kind of stuff,
And you
want
watch about 30
Most
minutes.
Floridians didn't even
Right.
know there was an election on
Yeah.
Tuesday.
You want convenience and you want things to be simplified. And right now, the simplified message is that you would prefer to vote for Republicans where we are in a society right now.
Yeah.
And so by having that clear distinction between what who the Republican candidate is versus who the Democrat candidate is makes things a lot simpler. And when you have candidates that have a war chest that is able to solicit all of the parties, is that then the average voter gets very confused on who really stands by their values.
Right.
Where Boca was a good example of that because, he knew he couldn't go left because if he went too left, he would alienate everyone. So he played very center and then he made it where you didn't really know unless you really vetted and you really got educated.
Unless you remembered,
And-
and we bet that people wouldn't remember how partisan he went in the
And
22
unfortunately,
cycle.
he betted correctly.
He did.
Yep. And so I think that by just stand in integrity and this is where we are. We're in a two-party
Right.
society.
Let's own it. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
We're here. Let's
Just
own it.
own
That's
it.
my point.
Yeah.
That's
Just
I
own
think.
it.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
and I will say, when you look at the Delray mayor's race, when you look at the Lauderdale by the Sea races, the Sun Sentinel was so pissed.
Oh my God,
They were
so
so pissed that
pissed.
Republicans
Oh.
got
Watching.
involved. But we were successful.
Yeah.
Very.
We were
Very.
successful.
Very successful. And you know what? They've been involved forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
I mean, you
Well, the
know,
thing
it's
of
like,
it is
boo-hoo,
yeah.
Republicans are winning in Broward, but it's like, we got to take ground where we can.
Listen, we are playing the game now. We're finally playing the game. Now watch them. They're going to change the game.
We've got to tweak. We've got to tweak and strategize in some areas better, as evidenced by Glenn's campaign.
Yep.
and Brian's. Yep.
Yeah. We just, you know.
But I feel like we're finally in the game. And
Right.
I want to say, too, about primaries and school board, going back to Rose's question for a second. This is one reason I think, and this is another reason I actually want to see it go partisan is because then it will end up on the November ballot, which is much more important. And I think part of the
That's
problem
true.
with school board
Yeah.
is people if they don't have anyone to vote in the primary for, then they don't go
Yeah.
out and vote.
Well, and
So therefore, they don't vote in the school board. But if they are out voting in the general, then you're going to get a lot more response to the school board votes, and
Yep.
that is such an important.
if
thing.
they do go partisan, will there be school board primaries
then
then?
there'll be primaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, look no further than, you know, Broward County School Board putting the referendum question on the August ballot. They wanted it on the August ballot
Yep.
because they knew,
It'd
you
be
know,
less
especially
turnout.
in 22,
Yep.
there wasn't a Republican primary for governor, the top of the ticket.
Mm-hmm.
And so they knew that the Democrats,
Yeah,
because
because that was a hotly
it was
contested
Kristen
one. It
Freed.
was Kristen Freed. Yeah.
good old,
Go old Nikki Freed.
bless your heart.
Oh, bless it. Bless.
So, you know, they like, and there were some people that kicked up a fuss, both, you know, because the county commission had to approve it to be on the ballot.
Yeah.
And they did.
Of course.
They went along with it.
They love putting things on the ballot.
Yeah. And like, to be honest with you, going back to the stupid surtax, if they approve it to go on the ballot, voters are going to pass it.
Yeah.
Voters vote for things that are on the ballot, especially when it comes
Why
to
do people vote
when it comes
for
to, like,
taxing themselves?
constitutional amendments, county charter
That's why I'm very
questions, all
concerned
that.
about this abortion one, which
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about in this.
We'll talk about
We'll
it later.
talk about it
Yeah.
as we get closer, but we have to keep an eye on that. But why do people vote to tax themselves more? I don't understand.
And then complain about paying taxes.
I don't get it.
You know, a lot of times, like a lot of times on the property tax, like if it's a property tax question on the ballot, you know, there's a lot of people that don't think they pay property taxes because they don't own their own home.
Right.
But
they
they
do
do.
through the
Yeah.
rent.
Yes.
Why do you think your rent costs what it costs? Your
Yeah.
landlord comes to that number because of what she has to
Mhm.
pay
Right.
on the property tax
And to be
insurance.
honest with you, going back to the inflation question, and you know, in addition to the rent moratorium from 2020, you know, those properties are not homesteaded. They don't have the Save Our Homes exemption. So when the values skyrocketed in Florida because everybody wanted to move to Florida, you know, those values skyrocketed and their property taxes skyrocketed.
Yep.
So I mean, that's another component
That's
of
a huge component.
of
That's
why-
a very good point. Abby.
why housing. That's why they pay me the big bucks.
You see that?
$150 a month at the City Lighthouse Point.
And from the podcast,
You know,
love, 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 love. If you would like us to get a salary for our podcast, support the podcast. Right now, it's just love, which we love you all back.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into why we have an affordable housing problem in
Yes.
South Florida. But
Right.
like, that's, I mean,
So be wary of any politician who comes in and says, I'm going to solve the affordable housing crisis.
you're not.
Because they are not. It's just like Andy kept
Yep.
saying he's going to solve the traffic crisis in Boca. There is no solving the traffic crisis in Boca because they didn't plan well. And here we are reaping the benefits
Yeah.
of their crappy planning, which he was a part of.
yeah.
Yes.
And now that was all he stood on. All he talked about, all his mailers were traffic. I'm going to fix traffic. Andy, you better freaking fix the traffic.
Well, and I was going to say this in relation to the Pembroke Pines race, but it goes equally so for Boca and any other race. You know, when our candidates, well, regardless of whether our candidates won or not, the real work begins for those of us. You've got to hold these electeds accountable.
Yes.
You've got to continue to pay attention. You have to keep an eye on the issues that are coming before the commissions, the councils. Like, we have to continue to pay attention.
Yep.
And it's got to be a joint effort. It's got to be a collective
Well,
effort.
that's how we got into this mess in the first place. Is
Yeah.
so many
Nobody
people,
was paying attention.
Listen,
Everybody
I've gone
took
to
their
those
eye off
Boca
the
City
ball.
Council meetings, and there's nobody
Nobody.
in
No.
the room.
No,
No
I mean,
one.
the last commission meeting, the room was packed because it was Commissioner Johnson's last meeting.
Right.
You know, our state rep was there to do a proclamation. Our county commissioner was there to do a proclamation.
Who's your state rep again?
Chip.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Okay.
he is yours. Da, da, da.
He's been great on Twitter lately, by the way.
He has been. Yeah. No, he's a good guy. And the mayor did a proclamation. And so, and all, like, her family, her son came into town, her grandson was there.
Aw.
You know, it was great. It was
Yeah.
great. And I'm sure it's going to be kind of like that Tuesday night when I get sworn in, because I think my whole family's going to be there and friends and, you know, supporters. But once the fun stuff at the beginning of the agenda ends,
It's gonna be like
that room
shoom.
clears out.
Oh, yeah.
I was like
Yep.
the only non-city employee left
Yeah.
in the audience last. Oh, I take that back, because there was reps from Waste Management there. There was Florida Power and Light reps there.
But you're the only just like resident like hanging. I know there was one
Right.
city council meeting because when I was working for the commissioner, I would go to the city council meetings to give
Yeah.
her reports, and so I had to stay for the whole meeting. And so
Right.
the meeting ends. It must have ended at like 10:30, 11.
Yeah.
So they finish the meeting, they go offline, and from the dance, I think it was Yvette. It's like, "Good night, Josie." I'm like, "Bye, guys. Thanks. It's been a blast."
Yeah.
Only person in the room, not working, not drawing a city paycheck.
Yep. Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, and I'll be honest, I haven't been going because I've been like eyeballs deep in work
Yeah.
and things. But
election.
It takes a lot of time and effort and energy that could be spent doing other things.
listen,
But
I mean, I would love, and the idea perfect scenario would be to have, you know, a couple key volunteers and a few, you know, in each city that just like rotate and,
Yeah.
and like, and give us a report on, you know, like what's happening in the city, because it's like, I mean, I'm only one person,
Yeah.
you know, so it's like I have
three little kids.
right, and it's hard. It's hard to.
I haven't been home to put them to bed.
I mean, I am the busiest, you know, person that works part time. Like I have like so many hats, and then, you know, I have work and everything on top of it. But it's like I still try to look through the agendas and try to watch
Yeah.
meetings and
Yeah.
everything like that, and it's exhausting, you know. And then it's like the lack of volunteers this last municipal session, you know, that just ended, you know, was
We
disappointing.
had some really good ones, some great people. So
We had
shout
some
out to those who
amazing
came out,
ones.
but
Yes.
it was not what it was like in 22. And that, I mean,
Yeah, because it's like if we would have just had 10 more volunteers step up to the plate in South Region, I think it would have made a huge difference in Inez's race and in Brian's. Maybe not necessarily to put him over the top, but at least would have got him closer to the mark. And you know, I mean, we can only do what we do, but it's so important to get involved and to do your part, you know. And if you don't want to be active in your community, this is a great way to put forth your effort by promoting or supporting financially a campaign, by donating, whether it's $5, $10, whatever.
time, talent, treasure.
Yep, exactly. And, you know, I mean, if you are in, you know, South County and you want to help the Wellington, you know, races or Pahokee, you know, $5, $10 can give them a
that
block
pays
of
for a
text,
lot of text messages.
Yes.
text messages, you know, like $5, $10, you know, they would so appreciate that. And this is just that way that we can kind of get involved and really do our part. And let's make sure that we have a better turnout come August and November, and especially in 2 weeks. So that Wellington and Pahokee election is April 2nd.
April 2nd. Okay.
April
So
2nd.
April 2nd, and then we'll be looking at, keep an eye on things for qualifying. So qualifying is when all candidates have to have their final paperwork
It's in June, correct?
You're
It's in
going to
June.
see all of these people come out of the woodwork, and you're going to be
Oh,
like,
probably
where did
over
they
the
come
next.
from?
That's what I'm saying. So we'll keep an eye on everything. Watch what's going on in your community. The beginning of June will be qualifying. That's when everyone either has to pay their money to get on the ballot or turn in their petitions.
Yeah.
They
should already be working on their petitions.
Yeah, everyone's
now.
working on petitions now, or they're going to pay the money. So, you know, I mean, like, you will see people come out that last week, I'm sure. So nothing is in the bag. We still don't know who all the players are yet.
Mhm.
All the pieces on the chessboard are not laid out.
We're going to be like,
Or we're going to be like, whoa, we'll see what happens. So, because there's some stuff going on in, like, the Delray races for the House of Reps, which I'm not going to get into right now because
Yep.
we're almost out of time. But, like, and we'll see. I don't want to say too much until we see what happens. But there's some, I mean, it is no... This is like a moving...
the scuttlebutt on the street has been very interesting.
very interesting.
For local elections. I will,
Yeah.
you know, coming for August and November. So it's going to be
Keep an
very-
eye on it. It's
Yeah.
going to be fun. Buckle up.
Yep. So hopefully, you know, maybe in our next episode we'll be able, you know, we'll.
Oh,
little
speaking
bit
of which, our next episodes. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of a schedule change because normally we go on the first and third Thursdays, but come April and then May also, correct?
Mhm.
We're going to be going on the 2nd and 4th Thursdays. So please mark your calendars. If you're expecting to hear us on the 1st and the 3rd Thursday, you will not. We will post this all over our socials, but it's going to be April 11th and April 25th. And then May 9th and May 23rd are going to be our April and May episodes. Is that right?
Yep.
Am I saying the right thing? Just making sure. Making faces. Somebody's making faces over here.
I don't know.
So just mark your calendars. Those will be our next episodes. If you would like to sponsor us, please let us know. We could use some sponsors.
We are going to we are running a special for candidates that want to sponsor. We'll give you shout outs and things of that nature leading up to the election. So if you are a candidate and you are interested in sponsoring, we can kind of help you in that aspects too. So please reach out. Again, I want to remind everybody we have 3 runoffs April 2nd, 2 in Wellington, Amanda Silvestri and Maria Antuna, and then Pahokee is Sarah Perez. So anything you can do, please reach out. If you are interested in volunteering, you can reach out to their campaigns directly, or you can email us at wethelocalsfl@gmail.com to get more information on how to work on those campaigns.
All right.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right.
That's all I got.
Well, thank you, Salvo today for your sponsorship. We do appreciate it and all of the help that you've given us. You can check us out at We the Locals FL on X, We the Locals on Facebook. WeTheLocalsPodcast.com is our website for all of our up-to-date information. Again, you can email us at WeTheLocalsFL@gmail.com. And have a great night, everybody, and be sure to stay local.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Stu. Bye.